Hey guys, I've just finished doing a half-hour video on writing the shader for this, and I don't know if it's really gonna be much of a riveting episode. I'll upload it anyway. I'll upload it after this video. Maybe I'll call it like this will be episode 6 or something. That'll be episode 6.1 or something. Like if you want to watch it, you can. What I'm gonna do in this video is I'm just gonna go over what I did. Without all the compile errors and the oh, did you name this right? It's it's a bit dry. So I'll give you more of a higher level understanding. I will go through the explanation again. The explanation is good, and it is important to understand conceptually what we're doing here. Okay, so we've got our camera, and we've got a star. Let's just say we'll pretend there's only one star. And we say, okay, what do we want to do? For that point in space, we want to draw a quad. Right? We want to send in 1 point and get out what we'll call will be 0, 1, 2, 3. Will be 4 different points in space. And then of course we can do interesting things with that. We can make it twinkle. We could give it different colors. For example, in this one we're going to make it a circle rather than a square. These sorts of things. You give it a bit of alpha, so it fades away around the edges. So what do we need to do to accomplish this? Well, first of all, we get our point. Like any shader, there'll be a bit of matrix transformation to turn it from a point in the 3D world to a point on a 2D screen. And what else we need to do is we need to, in order to get this quad, which we call a billboard, in order to get this to render, we need to figure out this up direction and this right direction, and decide how big we want to be. So decide what this scale is. So we'll just call that scale, and this will also have that same scale. And then from those two directions, we can then calculate our 4 points of the quad. All right. So for now, that's all this shader does, really. Excuse me. Okay, so I'll go ahead. I'll show you the code, give you a bit of an idea of how it works, and if you want, you can just go to the GitHub repo and download it. We will be adding more stuff to it later, so make sure you download it from this episode's repo. This commit. It'll be the episode. I believe it's episode 6 commit. I'll just double check that. It'll be the lesson 6 commit. Will be the simplest form of this shader. Let me see. I'll open it up. Go ahead into this one. Move that out of the way. We can have a look at how it works. Okay. So, start off with a regular shader. We've got a property for setting the radius. Then we're gonna. These are a little important. This is making sure that it gets rendered after solid objects. So that's kind of just the way that transparent objects are drawn. And then we also want to turn off Z writing, which means that's also a common thing to do with transparent objects, because usually you don't render things that are behind a solid object, Like I can't render the camera if there's a cup in front of it. So just the same or different thing is a transparent object. Render the transparent object and also render stuff behind it. So we do that by not writing to the Z buffer. So that's what Z writers off means. Blend source alpha 1 minus source alpha. That's how you say whatever color was already there, we want to blend it with the color that we're introducing. We're going to have three different functions in this shader. There's a vertex, geometry, and fragment. Really, the geometry shader is where the billboard magic happens. They're very simple structures for the moment. They're really just dealing with a position. And the vertex shader doesn't do any transformations or anything like. If you're used to using other shaders, you might be used to doing an object to clip transformation in the vertex shader. In this one, we're going to do that in the geometry shader. Okay, so we take in our radius. And then we just have our geometry shader. Again, if you want to watch how this is all put together, you can watch the 30-minute video. what we're essentially doing is we're using this utility function to find out where those points in space are, and then we're appending them to the vertex stream. Okay, that utility function, I'll quickly show you what that looks like. First of all, we find out what the right and the up directions are. And then for each of them, we find out where in 3D space that is. So it's weird. It's where in 3D space is the camera's right and the camera's up direction. And then once we have those three-dimensional positions, then we convert that into the clip position, like this standard Unity object to clip position. If you worked with shaders before, you'll be very used to that function. and then of course we do that for each of our vertices. So the bottom right, what is it? No, to the right and up, and yeah, negative right, positive up, right and up. Yeah, anyway, you get it. And then all we're doing in this, once we have those 4 positions in the fragment shader, we're just working out how far away is it from the center of the quad, and we're gonna apply opacity, apply alpha to it accordingly. So if it's in the very center, it will be completely opaque, and if it's in the very edge, it'll be completely transparent. We're just going to make sure we clamp it so we don't get any issues of, because it'd be -1 on one side. I'll quickly show. I find this stuff, like the math, I really do enjoy. I'll quickly show you what this does. Okay, so if you got a square, right? You got the middle would be 0. This would be 1. That would be -1. This would be 1. That would be -1, right? If we're calculating a distance, then the distance of 1 would be like there, and I think that the distance here would be about 1.4 or something like that, which would make things a bit weird if we're doing some sort of lerping and stuff like that. So what we want to do is we want to clamp it at 1. So at the very most, it's going to be drawn on these edges here. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much what the shader does. I'll then show you how to implement it, which I've already done. So all I've done really in this bit, I've created a folder called materials. Let's see, a folder called materials. You can't see that at all. Hold on a second. All right, we've got our. Oh, what did I do? I just dragged the scenes folder into the materials folder. Put that back. Okay, so now we've got our assets folder, and then we've got our materials folder. In there, we've created a material called a star material. The material the shader that we've created is in Starchart/star. And then we've got our radius that we can mess with to define how big they are. And now we're rendering our stars. And that's the core of it.